I know something you absolutely hate. You got a cute guy you're texting, you're kind of excited about him, hoping to make a connection, yet it's almost impossible to get anything out of him. You ask him a question and he answers, but he doesn't really give anything back in return. One word, one sentence replies only. What do you do with these guys? When should you cut them loose? Is there anything that's within your control to elevate the conversation into something more fun? I got all your answers. Stick around. I'm Marc Katz, dating coach for smart, strong, successful women and your personal trainer for love. Welcome to the Love You podcast. Keep listening to discover how to deal with one-word replies when communicating. When we're done, I'll let you know how you could apply to Love You to create a passionate relationship that makes you feel safe, heard, and understood. I know something. There are 1,000 dating coaches online, but when I started doing this, it was just me. Really, it was just me. I wrote one of the first books about online dating. It was called I Can't Believe I'm Buying This Book in 2003. And while online dating has changed a lot, human nature and healthy communication haven't changed. In Love You, there's this core premise that I try to impart to you in these podcasts. There is no right and wrong. There's only effective and ineffective. Is what you're doing working, or is it not working? If it's working, keep doing it. If it's not working, let's find a different way to approach it. So we never have to have moral judgments, value judgments. Is it effective or is it ineffective? Texting with men is a perfect example of this phenomenon. And before I explain how to do it better, I want to briefly explain, and it's important, why things are the way they are, why guys act like they do. So it's not so frustrating, so it's not so mysterious. If you've ever talked to a guy, you can get some version of this story, and I would suggest that you talk to your guy friends about their experience as well. So if you're a guy, you go onto an app and you know that unless you're a top 10% man, you're going to get rejected, no joke, 95 times out of 100. And if that's the case, if that's the real math, and go do your own online research, you'll see that it is. You can't be too precious about who you swipe on. Using very basic game theory, a guy should swipe right on every woman he finds remotely attractive, since most of the time, she's not going to match with him right back. And thankfully, for guys anyway, apps make it really easy to do this. You could eat dinner, watch TV, swipe on hundreds of faces per night. And that's what men do. So, if a guy is indiscriminately swiping on 200 women over an evening, and you're one of them, what does that mean? Does it mean that he likes you? That he's really closely read your 2-line profile and is interested in a relationship with you? That he believes that you are going to be a good girlfriend and wife and mother? That he's emotionally invested in you in any meaningful way? No, 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 and no. Now this guy, not a 10% guy, just a solid guy, has a solid guy who you could be interested in. On our 1 to 10 scale, he's a solid 7. So now the guy has 20 matches. What is he supposed to do with these 20 matches? Put yourself in his shoes. I know you can. So he's got 20 matches. Do you think he could keep track of 20 women in his head? Do you think he can carry on 20 meaningful conversations via text? Do you think he has enough time to take out 20 women this week? Of course not. And that is what explains all his dating app, all of his texting behavior. Of course his replies are going to be short. Of course he's going to forget what you were talking about. Of course he's going to flake out in the middle when he finds someone else that he's connected with in real life. Of course you're going to feel like you're disposable. That's because you are disposable. The medium itself, Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, it's not about people, it's what the medium brings out in people. So if you're going to use these apps, and I never recommend it to my clients, but I understand people are going to do what they do. But if you're going to use these dating apps, because, hey, this is just the way things are, what can you do to elevate the conversation? That's what we want to tackle right now. First of all, it's important to understand you can't control what men do. I said this in another podcast a few weeks ago. You can't control what men do, but you can influence how they react to you. All right. Here's a few ways in which we could do that. Number one, If you have something specific in your profile, it becomes much easier to make conversation. Give better written material for someone to latch onto, and you're going to have a better chance of creating conversation. Number 2, if a guy writes one line, again, this is the topic of the podcast. If a guy writes one line in his initial query, do not do the same thing back. This is really hard because people are natural mirrors of each other. One line usually begets one line. Conversation in real life is what we're trying to capture online. It's more lively and discursive than a typical online, especially texting conversation. So if the dude gives you a one-sentence question, instead of giving him one sentence back, give him a one-paragraph answer. Make it look like an email, not a text. You have to do better than these men, not just complain about how terrible they are. Number 3, if you think the conversation is just about questions, you're missing something important. Questions, and I know this is challenging stuff, right? The study of why certain conversation is scintillating and certain conversation is like pulling teeth. But here's one of the reasons why. Questions don't reveal your personality. Your opinions and your observations do. That's who you are. Your opinions, your observations. In week 7 of Love You, we discuss my opinion opener technique, which shows you how to offer your opinions and observations based on the details in his profile. So if he says he likes the Red Sox, which again, an unimportant thing that you may have no strong feelings about, it's far more provocative to tease him that the Red Sox are like the Yankees with an inferiority complex than it is to ask, so how long have you been a fan? The former starts a conversation, right, by being a little snarky and poking him. The latter sets up a one-word answer, 15 years. See the difference? One invites a conversation, the other invites an answer, but no follow-through. Number 4. So, if you've offered your opinion, given an observation, written a paragraph, threw it back to him with a question, and the guy still gives you one sentence, one line, what do? My answer, give him one more great text, which again sounds more like an email, like a person talking that tries to jumpstart things. Do it one more time, right, instead of giving up. Right? If you write 2 great, easy to respond to texts, and the guy gives you nothing in return, you don't have to get upset. You don't have to say something. You don't have to block him. Just, I'm using Love You terminology, fill your funnel, get more guys, right? And don't waste any more time on the men who can't be bothered to give you good conversation and differentiate themselves from the pack. There's no reason to string along some cute, boring guy just because you think it's your job to keep it alive. 2 tries. Life is simply too short otherwise. And after all that, and again, I ran through a lot in a short period of time. If you think that what I said might be bullshit because nothing actually works, please take a second to consider how you react when a man is actually good at online conversation. How easy it becomes, how smooth, how effortless, how fun it is to respond to a guy who's good at this. I appreciate your time. Let me know if these tips helped you out in the comments below. And do me a favor, share the one thing that you got out of today's episode in the comments below. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll see you next week. My name is Marc Katz. Thanks for tuning into the Love You podcast. For more episodes like this on YouTube, click on the subscribe button, ring the bell, choose all to ensure you get notified when new content comes out. If you're listening on the audio podcast, please share an honest review on Apple. More reviews equals more awareness of the Love You podcast and more love in the world. And if you want to find love right now and you're committed to making healthier choices with men so you can have that easy relationship where you feel safe, heard, and understood, if you just want to learn how to write better texts, look for the link below, apply for coaching in Love You, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.